So, if you've had trouble understanding how or why the corporate media landscape is pro war, and if you have trouble coming to terms trying to discern the language in which they speak and how they indiscriminately in some cases, but in also more cases indirectly advocate for war, check out this reporter questioning Jen Psaki.
Does the president envision any situation in which he might deploy a large amount of U.S. troops abroad under his presidency? Any sort of foreign conflict that would require the sort of mass troop deployment that he just said we are trying to move past?
I think one of the pieces that he talked about in the speech was how he views our engagement in the world, and I think this is probably why you're asking this question, and the horrible scenes and memories of the last few weeks. And as we think about how we embark on or how we use military force, these moments and these divisions of the last several weeks or months or years should stick in us, and he may stick in our minds.
Okay, so I hope you found that video somewhat enlightening. It was absolutely absurd what his question was. So I'm not sure what his name is, but I don't really care, to be quite honest with you. So his question there, and this is after the war in Afghanistan is now over. We ended the 20-year war in Afghanistan. Thank God. Finally, it was more than about time. And this guy has the nerve to go, after the war in Afghanistan was just ended, 20 years, before I get into it, let me just remind you, 20, in case you've forgotten, 20 years of nothing. 20 years of spending loads amounts of money, buku amounts of money, tens of thousands of deaths. I mean, Afghan civilians, tens of thousands, thousands of American soldiers dead. We just had 13 American soldiers that passed away in the bombing outside of the Kabul airport. All of this, and then he has the nerve to ask this question. The war in Iraq and Afghanistan, when added up, tallied up, over $2 trillion spent. When it's all said and done, with interest calculated to the year 2056, I believe, $6.5 trillion. I read an article from The Intercept that said that the total amount of the entire global war on terror will end up costing over $8 trillion. And we have absolutely nothing to show for it. Afghanistan is a destabilized region. They fed you the lies of going in. Now, they moved the goalposts multiple times, but one of the reasons they tell you is to stabilize the region. Does that region look stable to you? No, it doesn't. But we all know that's not why they were there. We know the interest. We know the goal, the military-industrial complex, and those military contractors. We know how profitable war is. I don't need to rehash those things, hopefully. But let's get into this guy's dumbass question. So he says to Jen Psaki, does the president envision any situation, it doesn't matter what the fuck it is, he just wants war, any situation in which he might deploy a large amount of U.S. troops abroad under his presidency? Wow. This is right after the war in Afghanistan has come to a close. Does he envision any situation in which he might deploy a large amount of troops? So my question to this guy is, what is, in your opinion, a large amount of troops? Like, where do you draw the line? Is it 10,000, 20, 50, 100,000 troops, 200,000? Like, what's a large amount to you? I'm confused. And what reason would we be deploying them abroad? I'm confused. These foreign threats that they like to conjure up. You might well just have asked her, hey, when are we invading China? I mean, yeah, you might well just went out and said it. When is he going, or does he envision any situation? I mean, notice how the question is framed. It's framed as, and these are the people that, you know, these are the quote unquote serious people. And this is supposed to be a serious question. This is not a serious question. This is a nonsensical question. He says any sort of foreign conflict that would require the sort of mass troop deployment, he said he's trying to move past. So Biden has said he's trying to move past that. And he's asking, well, is there any sort of foreign conflict that he would, you know, have to kind of, I guess, go back and deploy a large mass of troops? What kind of question is this? But this is what mainstream media has to offer. This is the best that they have to offer. And Jen Psaki goes on and shows how ungenuine she is and how she is, just as worse as the worst of these reporters. She says that he, in that speech, was talking about referencing the speech that Biden gave after the Afghanistan war came to a close. She says that he was talking about how he views our engagements across the world. And I think that's why you're asking that question. No, that's not why he's asking that question. That's not a genuine question. And you're not offering a genuine answer. He's asking that question to further the pro-war narrative, the pro-imperialist narrative that the corporate media landscape has to offer. Because they're backed by the same entities that like to fuel these wars, that being the intelligence agencies in the military-industrial complex. They're all in cahoots here. And their job is to advocate for things like war. And he's asking this absurd question, framing it as a question that's supposed to be genuine and to receive some type of answer that the American people would like to know, when in fact, no, that's not the kind of question you need to be asking. Ask a question about why the Democrats aren't doing anything to reform or abolish the filibuster. Ask a question about why they're not talking about passing the PRO Act for the workers in this country. Ask questions about why they're making it more difficult for workers to unionize. Ask a question about why they folded on raising the minimum wage when that was something that Biden said he would do, bar none. What the fuck's going on? But you ask the question. This is what this guy wants to ask. He has the chance to talk to the press secretary of the president of the United States of America, and he says, "Hey, when is World War III going to happen?" That's the best this guy has to offer. It's absolutely ridiculous. And these are the people that they'll try to spin to you as the ones that are the most educated, the ones that are the most serious, the ones that truly know how to do a great job. And I think that it has been put on blatant display, not just on this occasion, but many before this, that is the biggest lie